Hi you guys, and welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I will be doing a story time. And with this story time, I will be telling you about the time I almost drowned. So, it was the summertime of last year, 2018. And me and some girls from my school had got invited to this leadership program at Clemson University. And so, that was the time of my life, I'm not gonna lie. I had the best time ever, even with almost drowning, which is what I'm about to get into. But when we went, it was full of fun activities. We got to walk around and we did a lot of fun leadership experiences. I can do a whole nother video about that if you want me to. But anyway, one day we went out on a lake. And in the lake, we had to canoe. And it was other girls from different schools in South Carolina and other places too. And it was a big group of us. And so we went canoeing. And it was 3 to a boat, I believe. So in my boat, it was me, my roommate, and this other girl from a different school. And then my friends were in a different boat. I'm going to call them Jessica and Layla. Jessica and Layla were in another boat. And so we went out on the lake. They taught us how to work the canoe and how to row and all this other stuff. And so I was thinking, okay, it's gonna be kind of peaceful. Everything's gonna go fine, because the water, it was a beautiful day, and the water was all smooth and everything. Like, it was just, I just thought it was gonna be great, just great. But so at first we just stayed in kind of the shallow part of the lake, and so I thought everything was gonna be fine. Let me tell you right now, cannot swim, just gonna make that note. So I was kind of nervous, but I thought everything was gonna be fine, because I thought we was gonna stay in the little shallow parts of the water. So we kind of practiced rowing and everything. And so then they was like, okay, now the leadership lady, she was like, okay, now that y'all have the basics of everything down packed, we're gonna start going further out. Ooh, further out. Says what? Like, in my head, I just started getting nervous. I was like, further out in the water. And of course, it's a lake. It's a big lake. It's like, they call it a beach. It's a little beach at Clemson, but it's a lake. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lake. The water is deep. I cannot swim. How is this gonna go? So I was petrified, like so scared, out of my mind. But I was like, okay, I guess this is gonna be fine. Everything will be fine. So we started growing further out into the water, and I guess I should tell y'all how the canoe was set up. Since it was 3 people in my boat, I was in the front of the boat, so I guess I was the navigator. Maybe I'm wrong, I think that's what they said, but yeah, I was in the front, and then my roommate was in the middle, and then the other girl was in the back. And so I was kind of like, okay, we have to go over here. And I was trying to make sure we wasn't gonna hit anybody else, because mind you, it's a whole ton of us in this lake in canoes. And so I'm kind of trying to see where I'm going. And then my friends Jessica and Layla are over there as well. It's just like, okay, maybe everything will be fine. No, everything was not fine. So we went further and further out into the lake. And so we started going further out, and at this point the water is getting deep, okay, like deep. And I'm just so scared. And I don't even know why I was so scared. Like, we had on like life jackets and life vests, and then we even had a lifeguard with us. Maybe I was just too paranoid. Like, I don't do water. Like, I hate to say it, but I do not like water. I cannot swim. I tried to take swimming lessons. I did take swimming lessons. I took swimming lessons for a while. I took swimming lessons in second grade. I took swimming lessons in 7th grade with my mom. She took us to the wellness center that we have here. And me and water, we never got along. I'm petrified of water. Like, But yeah, We had a lifeguard. We had life jackets. They told us what was going to happen if we did fall in the water. But I was still scared. So we just went further and further out. And it was just, I was so scared. But, so we just went and we floated and we floated. And I was rowing. We was off rowing. And then they told us that we were going to stop for a minute to do like a little team bonding activity. So I'm thinking, we're in some deep water. Some deep water and some little tiny boats. And you want us to do a team building activity? Are you serious? Like, y'all, I was so scared. I wasn't feeling it. I was not feeling it. But yeah, they told us that we was gonna do a team building activity. So I'm like, okay, woohoo, let's do a team building activity. So they told us that we all need to steer into like a big circle. So all the canoes were making a circle. We got in the circle. And they told us to hold hands with people in the other boats. Like, we all had to grab hands with the girls who was in other boats. And I'm like, you want me to? Like, this spells disaster. Like, anybody knows it spells disaster. But we grabbed hands with the other girls in the boat, and they talked to us, and we did the team building activity. You don't ask me what it was, because I do not remember. I don't remember at all. But we did the team building activity. And after that, I was like, okay, can we go? Like, everything was gonna be fine. But they was like, no, let's stay in the water a little longer. So we stayed in the water a little longer. And we was in a deep part of the water at this point. And so we had all started steering, trying to unbreak out of the circle. And so me and my group, we was out of the circle, and then the other girls were trying to get out of the circle too. And eventually they all got out of the circle. But my friends, Jessica and Layla, while they were trying to get out of the circle, they, in this other group, this other boat, the other canoe, they hit each other in the water. And I guess when they hit each other, they try to like push the boats apart. So it went and like, they went flip. But that did not work. So the boats, they flipped. Well, one boat flipped over. And so Jessica and Layla fell out of the boat. Yes, they fell out of the boat in the lake, the deep water. I was so scared. And so all of a sudden, it's just like this big splash. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, Jessica, Layla. And the girl who was in another boat was like, oh my gosh, Jessica, Layla. And so we was all scared at this point. Like, I was crying. I wanted to go home. Not home, but back to the dorm. I was like, oh my God. So Jessica and Layla, they flipped. And Jessica could not swim. So Jessica had already said if she flipped, she was just going to be content with it, because, you know, things happen. And she was just like, oh my gosh. It was crazy. So the lifeguard jumped out of the boat, or out of the canoe. He was in the boat with the counselors who was supervising us. And so he jumped out of the canoe and had to go get Jessica and Layla. And Layla was telling the lifeguard not to worry about her because she could swim. And so Layla was already grabbing onto the boat and was kicking at this point, while he still had to get Jessica. And Jessica was like kind of panicking. And so it's crazy. It's very crazy. And so they're trying to get them back calm and situated. Mind you, we're still in the middle of the water. And he's trying to get them all situated and calm and everything. But my boat was further out than the rest of them. So it was like, the other girls was in this section of the water, while my boats, they're over here. My canoe, me and my roommate and the other girl, we were all the way over here, far away from where everybody else was. And so the wind starts blowing. The wind blows, so that kind of tips off the water a little bit. So at this point, my boat is doing like this. My canoe is doing like this. So I'm having a panic attack at this point. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? I'm not feeling it. And so then, all of a sudden, we just hear some music. And we're like, where's this music coming from? And it's a lake, so everybody's welcome at the lake. So it wasn't like it was private or anything. We hear music, and we're like, where's the music coming from? And then, all of a sudden, we hear an engine running. And when I tell you, it was a big boat coming, like flying through the water. This big boat was coming through the water, like going full speed, passing us. And so my boat's over here close to the big boat, and then the other girl's over here. So when the big boats come by, my boat's right here. They see him grab this, like frisk through the water. My boat's going like this, literally. I'm like, oh my god, what is gonna happen? And so I'm screaming, like I'm crying at this point. I was already crying because my friends fell out in the water. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm finna fall into the water. I'm finna die. The lifeguard cannot get to me because he's feet away, messing with the other girls, trying to make sure they're okay. So if this boat tips over, I'm dying. Like, I'm dying. That's my train of thought. So I'm crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, get me out, get me out. The counselors at this point are looking at me, and the other girls, and I'm worse than the other girls. They were kind of like, they were worried, but they weren't as worried as me. Like, I'm sitting there crying. I'm like, get me out of this boat. I want to go home. Get me off the boat. And so the boat's just going like this, like this, like this. And I'm like, oh my god. And I was crying. I wanted to go. And so they're like, calm down, don't move, don't move. How can I not move when the boat is rocking? And so they told us to be still, so we were still. And the water was still moving, so the boat was still moving. And so we had to wait, and we was further out than everybody else. We had to wait for the water to calm down. And so they told us when the water calmed down to steer to them, and they wanted to see if we were okay. I'm like, no, I'm not okay. Like, I was having a full-blown panic attack at that point. I was scared. I wanted to go. I was ready to go. But we was in the middle of the water. So we had to steer back to the boat. Jessica and Layla are soaking wet in their clothes. They got in a boat with the counselor, and they had to pull, somebody else had to pull a canoe. And so we had to go back to shore, which was so far away. I had to go back to shore, and I just wasn't feeling it after that. But yeah, I was so scared. I really thought I was going to drown that day, but I didn't. And neither did Jessica and Layla or anyone else. That was just a very terrifying experience, and I never want to do it again. I'm not ever getting back in a boat. Ever. I'm not going on a cruise. I can insert some pictures from the trip, and I'm going to show y'all like how the scenery was when I put me in the boat there. If I can find those pictures, so y'all can see like the water and everything. But yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment, and make sure you subscribe, and be on the lookout for my next video. Bye guys.